Stephanie here, and I just wanted to take a moment as we are getting ready to start our 5-day yoga challenge to talk about some of the things that you can use to help assist your yoga practice. So one of the things that I really love about having a home yoga practice is that you really don't need a lot of fancy equipment. All you really need for a successful home yoga practice is just some space to move around, some comfortable clothing, and maybe a yoga mat if you've got it. But you don't really even need to have a yoga mat to do most of this 5-day yoga challenge. So if you don't have one, any carpeted surface is going to work just fine for you. So, speaking of yoga mats, I got this one, I think maybe at Five Below for $5, and it works great for me. So you don't really need to go out and buy a super expensive yoga mat unless you know that you're going to be practicing on a regular basis and you want something that's maybe a little bit thicker. When you first buy your yoga mat though, it's always a really good idea to kind of like wipe it down with maybe a damp towel, something like that. So it kind of gets like that new matte sheen off of your mat, and will help make your mat a little bit more sticky so that you don't slide when you do your yoga practice. You can also Google how to make a DIY yoga mat spray. It's really easy. I've done it before. And that's a nice way to kind of treat your mat before you get started. Not necessary, not something that you absolutely have to do, but it is something that will help. So if you've got a mat, fantastic, and you can pick whatever type of mat works the best for you. I would go with a yoga mat as opposed to one of the real thick fitness mats. And the reasoning for that is the fitness mats tend to be so thick that when you're standing, maybe doing a balancing posture, something like that, they're so cushy that it's a little bit harder to balance. So you want something that's going to give you enough cushioning for your practice, but not something that's so squishy that's going to throw your balance off. And I find too, sometimes the thicker yoga mats like really kind of stretch in a funky way when you're doing some of the postures on them. So a yoga mat, if you happen to have one, is a good thing to invest in. If you don't have one, you can find them for pretty cheap pretty much anywhere. Some other things you might want for your yoga practice. So I have a specific yoga bolster because I practice a lot, and it's just the right size and density for what I'm looking for. But if you don't have a yoga bolster, a few things that you can swap out for a yoga bolster might be a throw pillow or a folded up blanket. Now you might be wondering what you would want to use this for. Sometimes when we're doing seated postures, especially ones that involve our hips and our hips are a little bit tight, it's nice to have that support underneath your hips. So you can always take a throw pillow, or you can take a blanket and just fold it up so you get it kind of your desired thickness. And there you have a makeshift bolster. Really nice too for some of the more like supported postures if you wanted to do something along those lines. So bolsters and props in general are just a really nice way to support your body while you're in your yoga practice. So it makes some of these poses feel just a little bit more comfortable in your body. Another really common yoga prop is a yoga strap. You do not need to have a fancy yoga strap for a successful yoga practice. There are so many things that you probably have lying around your house that you can swap out for a yoga strap. So you could use maybe a towel, and say we're doing something like a seated forward fold and you're like, wow, my feet are super duper far away. Use that towel as a strap. I've also got a scarf here, and infinity scarf. These work really nicely as well. Bathrobe tie, belt, necktie, anything like that will work as a makeshift yoga strap. Yoga straps are really great for if you're feeling a little bit tight, maybe bringing so that you can get a little closer to your feet, or if we're doing, say, perhaps an upper body stretch, having something to hold on to will make those a little bit more accessible. Finally, yoga blocks. I love practicing with yoga blocks because they help bring the floor a little closer to you. So say perhaps you're doing a forward fold and you're like, wow, the floor feels really, really far away. Using a block will help bring the floor a little bit closer to you. They're pretty inexpensive and can be found pretty much anywhere you can find a yoga mat. But if you don't have blocks and you'd like to help bring the floor a little bit closer to you, any good, thick, sturdy book will work as a makeshift yoga block. You just want to make sure that it's sturdy and it's not going to wobble too much. And just like a yoga block, you can change your settings on that. Make it a little taller, make it a little flatter, closer to the ground. So those are some things that you might want to have handy for your yoga practice. Again, by all means, all this stuff is not necessary, but sometimes it will help to make your poses a little bit more comfortable and make your yoga practice a little bit more accessible. So I hope you found this helpful. I can't wait to get started on Monday with our 5-day yoga challenge. If you haven't already signed up, I will go ahead and include the link for that with this video. It's free. You'll get a link for a daily yoga practice into your inbox every day, and I am really excited for it. So hopefully I will see you guys there. Take care. Bye-bye.